Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this new figure unboxing and review we're going to be looking at the Earthrise War for Cybertron Skywarp figure. So what we're going to do this video, we're going to unbox him live in a second, have a look at the entire contents of the packaging, see the accessories he comes with, etc. We're then going to have a detailed look at him in both modes to help you decide how you want to display him. We're going to see how he fares and compares with other figures that have used the same mould, and of course including the one that he was packaged with. And then we can of course do some comparisons with some other Thundercracker figures that have been released in the Generations toy line, and of course his original G1 self. Right then, before we get started, I need to thank Robot Recruits because that is who I purchased this from, and as you can see they did ship it to me lovely and safely. So as I say, this is part 2 of the review because we've already had Thundercracker, and this I believe was a special edition twin pack that was only available in certain stores, maybe even an Amazon exclusive, but I could only get it via Robot Recruits in the UK. So we can see we've got Skywarp there, we've got the lovely Earthrise artwork there on the side. We've got both of the jets, of course, on the back, and it's confirming that it'll be 30 steps each to transform them. And then if we spin it to the side again, we've got some beautiful artwork of the two of them in their alternate mode. So we've already opened this. So where did I open it? Let's see if I can remember. From the side. So let's slide this guy out. You've got, again, as you did have with a lot of the Earthrise figures, you've got these bits of maps that you can cut out and sort of piece together. There is no as read like an old tech spec or nothing to read through on that. I'm just going to move that out of the way, and of course the instructions I've already got out, but there he is inside his plastic casing. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to quickly set him free from there and come straight back to you. So here he is set free, and let's do some first impressions. So he's got a different head sculpt here that I've noticed already. Well, he's got a different expression on his face, shall we say, to Thundercracker that was in the same box. He's just got a bit of a sly grin on his face. This guy is obviously yelling at somebody or something, but the head sculpt is lovely. Great use of the red, it's perfect in there, it's not splodged everywhere. Lovely translucent orange plastic at the front, and of course you've got the same at the back where that will join up. As for articulation, the head will turn all the way around, it will go up and down, it looks like it's on a ball, so that's perfect. Shoulders will go all the way around and out to the sides. We do have a waist. Do we have a waist? Let's have a look. Nope, we don't have a waist, and I'll show you why in a second. We've got hips, side, front, knees, ankle rock, biceps, and everything as you would expect for a Voyager class figure these days. This is very, very stiff, very, very tight. But again, you get what you expect with the Seeker mold. It looks brilliant. I'm liking how it looks. This is the main reason why I haven't got the waist tilt. There's this big gap under here that they pretty much get away with it. I mean, you could be really pedantic, but the main reason for this is for the transformation purpose, in all honesty. But again, they do get away with it, unless, yeah, even if it's posing to the side or at an angle, you can't really tell it's there. This is, as I say, a mould that we've already had used for Thundercracker, and I believe the original owner of the mould was the Earthrise version of this jet of Starscream. But as we say, first impressions looking really good. We're going to come back now, have a look at him in his alternate mode and see what that looks like to display. Okay, here we are with him in his alternate mode. Quick apologies for no transformation on this video. That has been uploaded separately if you'd like to have a look at that. Main reason I do it is to keep the length of the video down and not to spoil it for people who want to do it themselves for the first time. In all honesty, the transformation process on this is very similar, of course, to the other jets, and even to, I think it was the old Classic or Universe figure that was just a little bit smaller. Alternate mode, though, as you'd expect, again, is stunning. If I want to be really picky, I perhaps would have liked these Decepticon logos here on the wings just to be that little bit bigger, because they don't really stand out, and especially with it being purple and black, they, you know, you've got to really turn it against the light to get them to stand out. But otherwise, it's beautiful. It's a brilliant homage. It's fantastic. Again, if I want to be a bit picky, there's no landing gear. You'd think that that would be landing gear, but it's not. It's just for the transformation purpose. And I suppose if I turn it upside down, you can't really tell that that's a robot. Maybe you can. But what we can do with the weapons, of course, this doesn't look the greatest, but I'm just showing you that you can put one of them there. I suppose if you lose one, that's maybe one of the options for you. And then you've got a couple of choices. You can either go right here, which is the top of the forearms. You can pop them there, which again, depending on how you're looking to get your display. The other reason as well is you don't obviously have to use these, any of the battle masters, any of the fossilizers, weaponizers, whatever else that we had. There's so many different things that you can attach to these now. So you could also attach them all the way back there on the back of the hind leg. I'm just going to pop this under the wing just so you can see what it looks like, and that's pretty much the standard way. And as I've already said, you know, this is very similar, just different redeco to the Earthrise and Thundercracker versions of this particular version and mold. So there you go, guys. There's the alternate mode. Still think it looks great, but I'm going to be displaying him in his robot mode, so that's how we're going to come back and have a look at him in that mode. Right then, back for the final time in robot mode, and that's because that's the way I'm going to be displaying him. I just think, again, he looks brilliant. I like the alternate mode, but in this mode, just so much better. His color scheme just works brilliantly. So let's have a look at how we can put his accessories. So you can, of course, if you wanted to, put both of the guns into his hands like so, which funnily enough, this will lead into one comparison, which is how I display his Thrilling 30 version, but that's mainly because it's a different jet completely, and the weapons obviously are completely different, but it's just good to have a change now and again with excuse me, with how you want to be displaying them. So let's bring that out of the way, and then of course you can have the more traditional. This is the way that I'm going to be displaying him, which is of course very much like Generation 1, which I will show you again in a second. But as I mentioned when he was in his alternate mode, the fact that you've got all these holes and all these ports means you can put the blasters or the null rays, no, they're not null rays, they're star screams, on the side of his arms and his shoulders. And then you can of course take, as I mentioned, some of the other additional weapons that work with any of the War for Cybertron trilogy, and again it just looks good. You can put that in, it completely balances, it doesn't, you know, take him off balance, he's not top heavy or whatever, just works. Looks really good actually, that does, to be fair. So as I've mentioned, this is the same way as I pretty much display my Generation 1 version of him, which is there. And I suppose the only difference with that, as you can see, is that the wings are the other way around. You couldn't display the other ones that way. No, they're all right, they look good. What I mean by that is the logo, sorry, not the full wing. That's his Generation 1 self. I've got just a couple more. This is his mini combiner version, not his leader class version. And then of course there was the Thrilling 30 at the side there as well. Brilliant color scheme, isn't it? It just works so well. So last quick comparison then. So of course there is Skywarp, there is Thundercracker, and again I haven't got the original Earthrise one, I've got the Coronation one from Studio Series 86, but there of course are your main three Seekers. A great addition to them if you haven't got them already. Obviously if you have already got them, actually to be fair, his Tetrajet version is super rare, so maybe you won't have one of him in this particular toy line, so it might be another one for you to try and hunt down as well. But there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed looking at him. Hope it helped with your decision if you wanted one as well. Thanks for watching. Take care. Thanks for watching. Like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe.